You gaze upon murder's progeny, child.
His most ill-trusted zealots.
His faithful departed.
Prodigal servants. Each returns to do his bidding eternally.
This is the court of the Dread Lord's Tribunal. I am its custodian. Here come those who seek to transcend, aspirants of his most profane order, the would-be unholy assassins of Bhaal. But these are not aspirants. You have brought traitors of Bhaal into our midst. Harper Worm, the abdicating hero. Your keen sense for this city has withered in your absence. And you, man of stone, as you stood a statue, a helpless ornament, your city warped, changed, became ripe for the plucking.
Sarevok, Baal's least favorite son. Still tied to Daddy's apron strings, I see.
You disappoint me, child of murder. I expected more of your return.
Sarevok Anchev, a relic of your cursed line, a Bhaal spawn who failed to become chosen. And yet, the history he shares with your companion seems to run almost as deep as your own.
What purpose do you have in bringing these heretics to the court of Bhaal? Speak, or death will be your final word.
Simple. We beat him about the brow and butt until he was dead.
Sarevok once fancied himself Baal's chosen, until we put him in his place. Feel no shame for forgetting him. History shall do the same.
These two have long meddled in my affairs, and my father's.
You get to my age, you have already done everything. Be my guest.
We have already smashed Sarevok's soul from his body once. Boo says it is your turn.
And so, the Harper and the idiot Ranger raised their weapons against Sarevok once more. You disappoint me, child of Bhaal. I had heard such tales of you, tales of grandeur and vile glory. But the company you keep has tainted you and pulled you away from our father's grace. I understand. I once fell to hubris, as you are falling now. But no more. Bhaal will never again have cause to question my devotion. Not even for a Bhaal spawn. You will die as you have lived. A heretic, forgotten, and unloved. Blood to blood is Bhaal's sacrifice, and I shall be the knife that spills it.
Do not parley with this madman.
Sarevok once had his chance to taste of goodness, but he spat it back out. Now he may taste boot leather instead.
You speak of the past. I speak of the future. Well, aspirant, do the shades of yesterday speak for you too? There are two paths to the Temple of Bhaal. To carve your devotion into flesh, or to be the carcass that is carved upon.
Minsc politely declines your offer to be an offering. I am afraid he is already claimed by Boo.
You toss allies aside so easily. After everything? If you are so eager to join this worm, then may you both be buried here together.
This is a sacrifice my father has long lusted for. But it is not the giving of their lives that will please Bhaal. It is the taking. The tribunal bears witness. Aspirant, do not disappoint us. A pleasing thing to see these stones stained with the blood of those who disgraced my father. Our father. I know my like, child of Bhaal. But I needed to see you slaughter first, to take life and revel in it.
You make promises that aren't yours to keep. Take care that their breaking does not break something more.
If Minsc is certain of one thing, it is that he very much plans on being a problem for Sarevok.
I know these two well. I have traveled in their company. Whatever else may be said of them, they answer to no one but themselves. It seems there is some disagreement on who is master here. Such stillness, such nobility, unmarked by your command. Your hubris is quite incredible, but it is your undoing, as it once was mine. They will not bend to your will. No matter. It will be my pleasure to break you instead. In my father's name. You wished to deceive Sarevok and your allies? The intent pleases, but the execution lacks finesse. Your hubris has gained the better of you, as mine once did of me. But no more of this act. They will not bend to your will. No matter. It will be my pleasure to break you instead. In my father's name.
Is it to be death, then? A better alternative to watching this sick family reunion.
You have shown us the color of your blood. Boo wonders if we had been wiser to spill it on the ground.
Forgive the insolence, Master.
Order, and Minsc obeys, as if Boo himself commanded.
I never thought I'd see this. The Harper and the Idiot Ranger brought to their knees before me. The violence pleases Bhaal. The domination pleases me. Your slaves may stand, the better to bear witness. You are something truly glorious, child. Are you here to have your vengeance on my granddaughter, Orin? She is the child of my child, and your bloodkin. But she only seeks the Bhaalian favor you were born to inherit. It is your right. Orin only seeks the Bhaalian favor you were born to inherit. Oh, noisome child. It would bring waves of enlightened rapture to duel you. But it is impossible now. I have already been sacrificed. Centuries ago. Upon Bhaal's own graven altar. I am now but a shadow of my former self. Orin is the one you seek to butcher. She only seeks the Bhaalian favor you were born to inherit. She may have usurped you once, but all her rites and rituals will never match her to your natural gift. Bhaal is about to name a new chosen. All is between you and my granddaughter, Orin, now. And Orin has much to learn. Our Lord does not care for beauty. Bhaal cares only for death. Death in numbers. Death in droves. It is a lesson Orin will only learn in death. I wonder if you will be the one to teach her. And yet you share a father. Her relation to you is as strong as it is to me, Bloodkin. Perhaps stronger. She wronged me. In killing her, you honor our father with a eulogy of blood. Why do you speak such heresy, child? Bhaal may favor you yet. You are the true inheritor, after all. She seeks to sacrifice you in our father's temple. She dreams that your corpse will be her masterpiece. But she forgets, before your incident, you were the true master. You were murder, pure murder. No excesses, no pretensions. I believe you will be the one to slay Orin. But you will need my help. I see you have not embraced your birthright yet. Perhaps with my stewardship, Father will bless you yet, before you may return to our father's fold. I must first ensure that you remain as pure and worthy of his blessings as you once were. Come, child of murder, let me lead you in Bhaal's worship. Forgive me, child of Bhaal. I forget myself.
Reverence.
Zeal.
Long may he reign!
We have a sacrifice prepared for you, child of murder. Let us celebrate your becoming. A pleasing thing to see these stones stained with the blood of those who disgraced my father. You bear his blood well, child. Your offering pleases Father. You are ripe for rebirth in his unholy name. We have a sacrifice prepared for you, child of murder. Let us celebrate your becoming. Do you hear that, child? The bloodless vacuum where your father's love for you should be. You have disappointed him.
You have been judged.
You have been found wanting.
Unworthy.
You will make a fine offering to the Lord of Murder. His own blood returned to him, freed of its ungrateful flesh. I sense truth to your words. Arrogance, too. Bhaal's children must also learn from him. I had to.
As did I.
You must be tested, child. It is Bhaal's will. Let us begin. Our father does not feel pride. He bore the disgrace of creating life in his spawn. We can but atone for the shame of birth. Let us begin. Spirit of the slaughtered, return to us. Show us the achievements this child has accomplished in thy unholy name.
His will be done.
be? Berlin herself, reduced to a specter.
You took this spirit's life, and thus its voice. So, speak for it. How was this pitiable creature slain? The details are everything. Anyone can kill. Not everyone can make murder an act of worship. An unholy assassin of Bhaal has victims, not adversaries. I would have thought that you understood that, Bhaal spawn. I am disappointed. You shrink from that which you should revel in. Your devotion to your father is wanting.
You have been judged.
You have been found wanting.
Unworthy.
You will die here, mageling. Paltry spells will not save you now.
Reverence.
Zeal.
Long may he reign.
You bear his blood well, child. Your offering pleases Father. You are ripe for rebirth in his unholy name. We have a sacrifice prepared for you, child of murder. Let us celebrate your becoming.
Play whatever part you must to get us closer to Orin Stone. It is not for me to question. Only to remind you that it is a part.
My hamster mislikes this, but I have assured him you have some purpose to this play acting. Yes? Of course I trust you, my friend. But remember, Minsc bent the knee as you asked. But all four of Boo's little legs remain upright and primed for Sarevok's tender parts. Of course not. Boo is. Guide us well, lest Boo take the reins and whip our butts back to the path of virtue. Wherever you lead. But remember, Minsc bent the knee as you asked. But all four of Boo's little legs remain upright and primed for Sarevok's tender parts.
Come, child of Bhaal. Offer thanks unto your father for your birth, and in so doing, be reborn anew. Slaughter this celestial being. Spill its blood into the void, and through eradication of its goodness, be exalted. Spare no violence for the Dreadlord's grace, and savor every moment of the creature's slaughter. Behold, Father Bhaal, your lost child, bathed anew. Arise, unholy assassin.
His most unholy will be done.
Another walks in Baal's bloody footsteps. It seems your warnings were not heeded, heroes of Baldur's Gate. I must admit, it brings me pleasure to baptize an unholy assassin in your presence, noble heroes.
Do not presume any would follow your path, Sarevok. After all, you've shown them its sad and meaningless end.
Our friend is not like you were, Sarevok. When Boo speaks to them of goodness, they do not get that stupid soon-to-sneeze look on their face as you used to.
We act with a purpose, Sarevok. Perhaps you have forgotten what that feels like.
Minsc does the doing, Boo the reasoning why. And he need not explain our noble cause to you, Smooth Skull.
You always were vulnerable to a grand narrative. Such weakness is common among heroes of your ilk. A word of advice, unholy assassin. Wrap your leash tighter about your slaves, lest their belligerence undoes you. The reasons matter not. The Celestial is dead. The offering is made. The discards of history may yet find their true purpose in Bhaal's service. As followers of a Bhaal spawn.
Minsc knows little of irony, but he would be happy to show you his steel again, Sarevok.
Sarevok. Baal's least favorite son. Still tied to Daddy's apron strings?
Child of Bhaal, do you not fear our father's wrath? Why waste your time on discarded relics? With Bhaal's blood in your veins, you need them not.
We act with a purpose, Sarevok. Perhaps you have forgotten what that feels like. But do not let us keep you from your business. There is so very much sitting and sulking in the darkness to be done.
Boo will leave your innards unfeasted on for now, Sarevok, but only to leave room for the villains who actually matter.
Your wit remains as sharp as ever. But your devotion must be sharper still, for you now carry the Murder Lord's blessing, unholy assassin, and his expectation. And you will be well instructed. For you follow a Bhaal spawn. Take this amulet, child, and return it to your father's chamber. Cleanse the temple of Orin's girlish shrines, and bring your primal slaughter back to Bhaal. There is nothing more I can teach you, but if you bring about her death, return to me. We shall revel in the divine memory together. As family, today we witness near perfection, Bhaalspawn. Your blood was foul before, but now you are twice tarnished. The unholiest assassin. Father shall be proud indeed. Go to him and present your sister as an offering. There isn't a moment to lose. Perhaps your heart has spent too long bleeding. Bhaal will not allow for a moment of weakness. A true pleasure this will be, Bhaalspawn. Whether to kill you or be killed by you. And so I am exposed to the instincts of a pure Bhaalspawn. I should have known. Yours is a nature not to be contained. A true pleasure this will be, Bhaalspawn. Whether to kill you or be killed by you. The victorious chosen must emerge from his own knife arm. Far be it from me to bend Bhaal's will. Do not mistake my blessing. If it is your death that becomes the offering, I would worship that tragedy. Father loves no sport more than the spillages of fratricide. Every Bhaalspawn other than he who would be chosen is born to die, and every death a prayer. You don't recall all the wrong you wrought at the temple, champion of the underworld. But one matter is undeniable. You belong to Bhaal. He manifests within you, and you are a truer vessel of his cruelty than even the Slayer could be. The thwarted dream of 2 centuries ago. For Father to walk the plains again. You are the one that can revive that dream. While Bhaal receives tribute through Orin, he lives again through you. Does your body force you to blink? To breathe? To piss? Killing is but another vital function of your existence. Such is the urge. For you, his perfect creation. It is only natural. Killing is but another vital function of your existence. Such is the urge. Go now, and do what I could not. Go to the heart of the slaughter, and be the last to live. The temple is beneath the city, where all blood spilled is drained. Cleanse the temple of Orin's girlish shrines, and bring your primal slaughter back to Bhaal. There is nothing more I can teach you, but if you bring about her death, return to me. We shall revel in the divine memory together, as family.
We've done what we came to do. And we're all of us sullied for it. Let us make it worth it.
In years past, you brought this man low, foiled his plot to become a god. Now you stand before him once again. Sarevok Anchev.
Harper Worm, the abdicating hero. Your keen sense for this city has withered in your absence.
Sarevok, Baal's least favorite son. Still tied to Daddy's apron strings, I see.
Your face bears the marks of many years, Jaheira. Your wit, however, does not, as you stood a statue, Stone Lord, a helpless ornament. Your city changed, warped, became ripe for the plucking.
While you wriggled neath the city's soil like the worm that you are, it will please my hamster to kill you twice, sarevok.
You're as stupid as I recall, man of stone. You were never more to my father than a stinging insect. Irritating, but irrelevant. And yet, you still scrabble for his attention. You are unworthy of Bhaal's presence, let alone his trial. But for one purpose you are fit, indeed. You will make a fine offering to the Murder Lord, the Grand Harper, baptized in blood. What a sight to behold, a hamstered fool. Once more, stumbling across Bhaal's bloody path. I must admit, it brings me pleasure to baptize an unholy assassin in your presence, noble heroes.
Sarevok. Baal's least favorite son. Still tied to Daddy's apron strings?
No more than you are, Harper. For you have been reborn. And in our service are we united, unholy assassin.
Yes, Boo. Sarevok does speak like one who has not tasted Minsc's boot on his brow before. You will recall we killed you once before, ball spawn.
And yet I returned to my father's service and brought you with me, Rashaman Wanderer. For in your baptism are we united under Bhaal. I bestow upon you the amulet of Bhaal, the vestment of his most unholy servants. With this amulet he grants you entry to his chambers, the Undercity Temple of Bhaal. The portfolio of murder passes into your hands. Do it justice. Enact slaughter befitting a god.
This is a foul place. Better bury it. Already Boo is bristling, and not from the cold.
I confess that the last time I came here, I thought it would be my tomb. You can see why.
Then you've made your choice. Live with it if you can. I I will not.
Do not look, Boo. It is no longer our friend who stands there.
Drop that stone! You will want your hands free for what comes next.
Boo knows many gods. You don't look like any of them.
Congratulating you, of course. Without you, there would be no absolute. This was all your doing.
And Minsc shall be your undoing.
Only a respite. Do not forget who knows the bhaal better than any alive. Your path only ever led one way.
Boo and I, we prayed it would be Orin who prevailed. It would make this slaughter to come a little gentler. You can lie to Minsc, perhaps even to Jaheira, but not to Boo.
You have what you wanted, Chosen. And now you will see exactly what that means. And you could have embraced death with a smile. Few are given such a choice.
Boo and I, we once hoped that that was true. But no longer.
Who is this performance for, bhaal? It is only us here. You need not pretend. You have won Baal's bloody blessing. Now you think you will step out into the world and carve your name upon it. Minsc and I, we know better. We stood here a century ago and watched this same ceremony unfold. We stand here again to show you how it ends. With your bones rotting beneath your father's hall. Your name remembered by none.
We have slain kings, and gods, and one time a giant. But never before a friend. Jaheira hoped there was still some flimsy light of good within you. Small as Boo, but just as bright. Jaheira, must it truly be this way?
The path was not of our choosing, Minsc. But we must walk it all the same. What about you? Will you protect the world from what they have become?
I really hoped we could avoid being pawns for a dark god. But here we are, I suppose. I'm with you, my dear. Wherever this leads.
Goodbye, bhaal. Harpers, to arms! Let's defend this city as we always have.
Boo and Minsc promised to make it swift. Evil.
Then I am afraid you don't know us at all. As we never truly knew you.
You feel a tug of recognition. Minsc's unwitting mind mingled tides of anger, grief, confusion. Friends and enemies melding beyond recognition. A simple command. Your tadpole provides the means, your bloodline the message. To end these petty mortals who plague your father.
Oh, no more threats? I admit, I was hoping for...
What did you make Minsc do?
You've chosen the company you keep. I will not allow the bhaal to hide behind you. Harpers! Let us do what we must!
Corpse regards you, lifelessly.
Boo! Boo! You return, taint-blessed kin-killer, having committed the holiest of sins. Your despicable sister lies dead, and your chosen body bathed in her blood. I died once. A death in the self-same temple chamber where you slaughtered Orin. A long while ago. My wretched sibling brought me back. The fairest of Bhaalspawn. Soul bound me to this husk. Worship death though I do. I refused it. I roamed the coast, gathering those who still held Bhaal in their black hearts. The cult survived, festering beneath the city with me as the gate's everlasting poison. With these killings, the glory of the Bhaalists has risen beyond what we dreamed possible during those dark days. And now that you have returned, we will have a new age of slaughter in your name. For you have slain Orin in our father's temple. Receive the blessing of Bhaal. I lie awake each night in this sleepless scab of a form, dreaming of what it would have been like. It must have been, and you have given me new hope yet. And every day living with the failure of my first death, I wondered whether Bhaal might forgive me. As my daughter raised our daughter, we debated to no end as to how we would make of her the perfect offering to the Dreadlord. To eat her when she was but a babe, to drain a gallon of her blood each morn and pour it over his icon each night, to skin her and craft the hide into a hilt for a sacred knife. I am pleased she died a finer offering yet. There is no deeper honor than death in a duel with Bhaal's chosen. You have given me everything a father could hope for. You failed to bring forth issue while you helmed our cult. It is a mortal sin for a chosen. I even hoped you and my daughter might one day create a new blood lamb for us. But it is not to be. And would you know it, little slayer, so do I, you. You are so full of promise, the perfect chosen. I almost hate to bring a challenge upon you. You have done me a great service, child of murder. In eliminating Orin, you have cleared the way for me. Bhaal's will is absolute. The strongest of his bloodline will be chosen. A spawn who kills a chosen must then become chosen themselves. And who counseled you to do it? Who laid a trap for the hot-blooded young Bhaalspawn and tricked them to return? I knew the old way. Two feral Bhaal pups jostling for position at the top. One was going to die by the other's hand. Thus one would have the work of murdering to the top. They would never consider that another remained yet with a claim upon their title. You didn't even think of it when we spoke earlier. Let us die, chosen, as only Bhaalspawn can. Perhaps not, but for his honor, I must try. To die by the hand of a chosen is the only death I could ever wish to take. My aching bones in this husk still feel every spark of pain from the crystalline moment of my first death in the temple. Let us die, chosen, as only Bhaalspawn can.
Another Bhaalspawn buried by our hand. Bhaal should learn better than to send his offspring against us. They might as well be babes, dropped bare bottom into the Rashiman winter.
I would be lying if I told you I was certain we would walk out of that temple alive. We faced Bhaal there once before, and I was not ready to count on luck a second time. But luck had no part in it. Just you.
Well, you and a certain miniature giant space hamster. But mostly you, true.
The path of a Bhaalspawn is not an easy one. Nor does it ever truly end. But you found your footing where so many before you have fallen. Wherever you lead from now, we will follow. I believe you have an appointment with a Netherbrain. Lead then. Nature's servant awaits.
You return, taint-blessed kinkiller, having committed the holiest of sins. And yet, as you came afore Bhaal, you spat upon the glory all of our brood dream of so deeply, leaving Father with no chosen at all. As my daughter raised our daughter, we debated to no end as to how we would make of her the perfect offering to the Dreadlord. To eat her when she was but a babe, to drain a gallon of her blood each morn and pour it over his icon each night, to skin her and craft the hide into a hilt for a sacred knife. And in the end she died for nothing, by your hand. The whole debacle caused naught but Bhaal's ire. I'd hoped she would die by the Chosen's hand, but there is no Chosen in this cruel world. And soon, I shall be all that remains of his line. Perhaps Father will take me back if I clean the world of his little embarrassment. And I remember my battle for the city like it was yesterday. My aching bones in this husk still feel every spark of pain from the crystalline moment of my first death in the temple. For 200 years, I wallowed in my own failure to dominate this city. I didn't deserve an eternity of rest. I deserved only this shackle to live forever on the outskirts of my own dear cult and mourn my own downfall. After centuries of this rancid defeat, I rejoice. For today, I meet the true definition of failure. Perhaps Father will take me back if I clean the world of his little embarrassment. I died once. A death in the self-same temple chamber where you slaughtered Orin. A long while ago, my wretched sibling brought me back. The fairest of Bhaalspawn, soul-bound me to this husk. Worship death though I do, I refused it. I roamed the coast, gathering those who still held Bhaal in their black hearts. The cult survived, festering beneath the city with me as the gate's everlasting poison. With these killings, the glory of the Bhaalists has risen beyond what we dreamed possible during those dark days. But you have brought it crashing at our father's feet. With Orin's death and your rejection of him, you leave him with no chosen. I will be the last of our line. As long as one Bhaalspawn lives yet, there may be a chosen. Perhaps Father will take me back if I clean the world of his little embarrassment. I will be the last of our line. As long as one Bhaalspawn lives yet, there may be a chosen. Perhaps Father will take me back if I clean the world of his little embarrassment.
A genuine pleasure to meet you again, my friend.
Minsc had his doubts about you, little slayer, but Boo had none.
Congratulations are in order. I fancied myself the sage advisor, sworn to guide you through what it means to be a child of Bhaal. And while I mulled on that solemn responsibility, you went and took care of it on your own. Well done. Truly.
Well done indeed. Though now you will never see a god of death cower before a miniature giant space hamster. Every choice has a cost, I suppose.
The path of a bhaalspawn is not an easy one. Nor does it ever truly end. But you found your footing where so many before you have fallen. Wherever you lead from now, we will follow. I believe you have an appointment with a Netherbrain. Lead then. Nature's servant awaits.
To return, taint-blessed kinkiller, having committed the holiest of sins. And yet, as you came afore Bhaal, you spat upon the glory all of our brood dream of so deeply, leaving Father with no chosen at all. For 200 years, I wallowed in my own failure to dominate this city. My aching bones in this husk still feel every spark of pain from the crystalline moment of my first death in the temple. I didn't deserve an eternity of rest. I deserved only this shackle to live forever on the outskirts of my own dear cult and mourn my own downfall. After centuries of this rancid defeat, I rejoice. For today, I meet the true definition of failure. Perhaps Father will take me back if I clean the world of his little embarrassment. Oh, hail, true chosen. May you bring death wherever you walk. You gaze upon your disgraced kin, those who were sacrificed where you were raised up.
His most ill-trusted zealots.
His faithful departed.
Prodigal servants, each returned to do his bidding eternally.
Sarevok Anchev, a bhaalspawn who failed to become chosen long ago. Spilled stain of Father's divine essence left out to dry. Is he your cousin? Great uncle? Brother even? Bhaal's bilious waters are always a little...
Silence, spawn! Our undeaths are not to be admired. They are a punishment for our failures. Exquisite. I claim a forefather that I desire all deaths equally. In my private worship, though, I have found myself turning again and again to prayers for her demise. We honored Bhaal with our deaths, but he dragged us into these husked forms to bring the lash upon the gate and nurse his dread cult in its dormant years. We preside over the tribunal, which has initiated many assassins into the ranks in the temple. Here we remain until another of our line ends time itself. They must craft a series of kills, reaping divine tragedy and greater terror besides. At the last, an innocent must be gutted, while the tribunal judges the initiate's knife hand. I suppose there will not be the need for the tribunal. Now a true prophet of Bhaal has arisen again. You'll name your new unholy assassins directly. Unholy chosen. Of course you are above needing to prove yourself to the tribunal. But the truth of Bhaal's will remains. Any Bhaal spawn who can kill a chosen has a hope of becoming the chosen themselves. I fear we must kill one another. It is Father's way. Two children must not both leave a holy site alive. I thank you for killing my granddaughter. She could not have been dispatched by better. Nor could I. My aching bones still feel every spark of pain from the crystalline moment of my death. Even if I cannot defeat you, perhaps at last, he will let me die.
Reverence.
Zeal.
Long may he reign.
Let us die, chosen. As only Bhaalspawn can die. The weakest worm of a Bhaalspawn. The holy fool. Whelp. Know that Bhaal has a worse fate in store for you than you could ever fear.
You have been judged.
You have been found wanting.
Unworthy.
Sarevok Anchev, a relic of your cursed line, a Bhaal spawn who failed to become chosen. Is he your cousin, great-uncle, brother even? Bhaal's bilious waters are always a little murky.
These are not aspirants. You have brought traitors of Bhaal into our midst. Harper Worm, the abdicating hero. Your keen sense for this city has withered in your absence. And you, man of stone, as you stood a statue, a helpless ornament, your city warped, changed, became ripe for the plucking.
While you wriggled neath the city's soil like the worm that you are, it will please my hamster to kill you twice, sarevok.
Does it hurt, sarevok? To be confronted with yet another of your brood who is not so desperate for Daddy's attention as you are.
Fate is written, and I have read it. You shall know soon enough. Know that while I sit here in this husk, and in every moment experience the crystalline pain of the moment of my death, but my fate is a paradise compared to the one Father has in store for you. We honored Bhaal with our deaths, but he dragged us into these husked forms to bring the lash upon the gate and nurse his dread cult in its dormant years. We preside over the tribunal, which has initiated many assassins into the ranks in the temple. Here we remain until another of our line ends time itself. You were the greatest hope we had for centuries. His ire may be quiet now, and you may not have become his brutal prophet, but the line is not ended. You carry him with you, deep within, in your divine essence. We have both failed, Bhaal. Let us die again, this time by each other's hands in his holy sight. Each breath you take is an insult to him, the holy fool, who purged Bhaal's blessings and ruined their once perfect form Your death is a welcome offering here. We honored Bhaal with our deaths, but he dragged us into these husked forms to bring the lash upon the gate and nurse his dread cult in its dormant years. We preside over the tribunal, which has initiated many assassins into the ranks in the temple. Here we remain until another of our line ends time itself. You were the greatest hope we had for centuries. His ire may be quiet now, and you may not have become his brutal prophet, but the line is not ended. You carry him with you, deep within, in your divine essence. You sacrificed your kin, the most sacred act a Bhaalian could conduct, and summoned him with her blood, just to mingle your pissing fear with her gall puddle. There are no words for this blasphemy. It may not be this decade, may not be this century, but a true spawn, our dread father incarnate, will one day be born and will destroy this city. We have both failed, Bhaal. Let us die again, this time by each other's hands in his holy sight. Each breath you take is an insult to him.